If I were to plan out my own DCU, well, a lot of people would start with Superman, but I'm super biased, so hey, here's a Batman movie. Bruce Wayne's been gone for years, training around the world, and when he comes back to Gotham, it's a mess. The city's teetering on collapse, crime is out of control, the cops are corrupt, and then there's this guy calling himself the Riddler, who hijacks the city's power grid. Boom. Total blackout. No lights, no tech, no escape. Gotham's cut off, and the government puts it under quarantine. If you know Batman, just think of Batman's No Man's Land. It's a good story, check it out. Bruce hasn't become Batman yet. He's just this ghostly billionaire everyone thought was dead. But after the blackout, he finally decides enough is enough. He starts going out at night, using the shadows, early gear. Very DIY. Think like fully homemade suit, like Spider-Man Homecoming. I mean, fully like just like a hoodie or something. Now, during the chaos, he saves this 13-year-old girl called Carrie Kelly. She's smart, scrappy, and fearless, surviving on her own since her parents disappeared in the blackout. She's got this dry sense of humour and doesn't take anything from anyone, including Bruce Wayne, no matter if he's rich or Batman even. He tries to drop her off with the cops or with like child protective services, but they're overwhelmed, useless. They literally have no power, nothing, so I don't really know what he expects them to do. And honestly, it's just kind of dangerous. So he takes her back for the night. He tries to scare her off, but she doesn't care. She sees what he's doing and wants in. And here's the thing, he kind of does need her in a weird way. Like, yeah, he needs someone else in the fold, someone actually to talk to. Carrie Kelly essentially serves the story to act as a tether to Batman's humanity. Because that's something that he would really struggle with, especially if this is his first year, or I guess his 0 year being Batman. This first act ends with Batman putting on the like real Batman suit. Obviously it's still a prototype, but the real quote unquote Batman suit for the first time. And it's not about revenge for his family. He's not looking for Joe Chill or anything like that. This time it's just to protect his city and Carrie Kelly, who now is depending on him. Okay, Act 2. Bruce is out every night trying to hold the city together. He's figuring it out on the go, basically. He gets beaten up all the time, his gadgets barely work, and every night is a close call. He almost dies pretty much every time. He's Batman in theory, you know, like you could look at him and say that's technically a Batman, you know, that's technically a Batman story, but in practice, he's not really Batman yet. Meanwhile, Carrie is still in not in the Batcave, but in Wayne Manor. And she eventually finds her way down to the Batcave accidentally. And she pokes around asking, you know, a million questions. She's also a tech geek, in the limited amount of tech that she would get from her upbringing. But she keeps showing up with just a kind of childlike insight that Batman doesn't even consider. She sees the mysteries that the Riddler gives in a different light to him. So, you know, she thinks outside the box in a way that Batman isn't able to yet. Bruce Wayne, of course, tries to push her away because this is Bruce Wayne we're talking about. But she just keeps pushing in a childlike manner. So, I mean, he kind of has no choice. And he's also basically, you know, her caregiver now, so he doesn't really have a choice either way. So she gives him insight and helps him see things in a different point of view, even before Alfred can figure out the Riddler's messages. But the problem is the Riddler is escalating a massive amount. He starts to turn the city into his own playpen, you know, with riddles tied to explosives, even public executions, live streamed, you know, with clues that Batman is taunted to try and stop him with, but it doesn't go great for either of them. Riddler's basically just testing him, just toying with Batman. He's very interested in Batman and what he's like and, what makes him tick and all that. His ultimate goal is to mold Batman into the hero that the Riddler sees Gotham needs, into more of a ruthless anti-hero, into someone that rules with an iron fist and, isn't a vigilante, but is more of an actual leader. Which, obviously not an iron fist, you don't want that, but in some ways the idea of becoming a leader will lead into this story, but I also plan it to lead into future stories, so yeah. Carrie starts getting more and more involved, not because Bruce actually lets her train, just because she kind of forces it upon him. He, again, doesn't really have a choice about that. Eventually she follows him, unknown to Bruce, on a mission, and ends up saving his life with a smoke bomb that she actually stole from him. She kind of proves that she's not just a liability, she's not just a stupid kid, she can actually help out. And that she can become a partner to him. So Batman starts to become less of a masked brawler and becomes more strategic, a protector, and a bit of a father figure to her, actually. And then there's a really good moment, if I don't hype myself up too much, where Carrie shows up in like a homemade outfit, red glasses, patched up green hoodie. It's like a really like DIY Robin suit, basically. Batman, or Bruce, instantly freaks out. Of course, like, what is this kid thinking? I'm not going to bring you into a war zone. But he's eventually overcome because Carrie has something different than other people. It's not that Carrie believes in the message Batman is trying to give. It's that Carrie believes in him. So that's very different for him. It really moves him. Meanwhile, I want to give hints to a bigger universe in this, because obviously this is the beginning of a DCU in my mind. So there's like a mercenary called Slade Wilson, obviously Deathstroke, moving into Gotham. And some of the tech that Riddler is using is actually stolen from LexCorp. Maybe. I'm thinking about maybe keeping it ambiguous for now. As in, like, it might be stolen from LexCorp, or he might have worked there, or something like that. But I want to keep it ambiguous for now. So, Act 2 ends with the stakes really, really high. At least that's the way I see it. And the Riddler kind of at the end of Act 2 announces that there's like this final game that they have to solve to save everyone. So Act 3 starts and Riddler's final game is finally announced. It's a last riddle for one last chance for the city. And basically he's booby-trapped Gotham Stadium, packed with refugees and survivors, with a massive device tied to the city's blackout grid. So he tells Batman, you either solve the final riddle or everyone here dies. And at the same time, unfortunately for Bruce, Carrie is also kidnapped. She followed a clue Bruce told her not to, trying to help, and now Riddler's got her. It's now more of a personal game. Batman isn't doing this, or he is doing it to fight crime, but now he's doing this because, if Bruce is a father figure to Carrie, then obviously Carrie is a bit of a daughter figure to Bruce. So, Riddler's now given this ultimatum. You either stop the bomb that's going to kill a bunch of people, or you save Carrie. So basically, this is Jason Todd. Basically, Jason Todd. And I want people to really lean into that. I want people to really see that that's going to happen. So after a long, arduous journey of, trying to figure out what to do, Batman does eventually decide to save people from the bomb, because it's more people, you know what I mean? Trolley problem, all that. But it's a twist. So throughout the movie, you know, you've seen, while Bruce has been hesitant to teach her actual combat, actual, you know, vigilante skills, he's taught her fatherly things. So you'd think, oh, well, that wouldn't lead into anything. I mean, that's just like a nice scene, right? So here's where it leads in. So I'm not sure exactly what, but basically something that he's taught her in a fatherly way would then lead back in to how she then escapes this, you know, arduous situation. So I want it to all kind of link up. So basically, she's still terrified, obviously. She's a small child, but she keeps the level head by what she's been taught. And she escapes, luckily. So they meet back up. Batman's relieved, you know. No tears, obviously. He's not about that life. So, basically, eventually he outsmarts the Riddler. The Riddler does, like, one final riddle. I'm not good at writing riddles. I don't know why I picked the Riddler as my main villain. Whatever. I wanted to do Zero, yeah. That's why. But yeah, so he does the final riddle, and Batman basically doesn't solve it this time. He's not going along with what the Riddler's saying. He just says, basically, fuck you, and then figures out another way around it, which is an EMP device that Alfred has made. So the Riddler is caught, obviously, and because this is the Batman's first kind of outing as a hero, this means he's now in the public eye for the first time. So what this basically means is, well, first of all, we're not going to have like a Batman 2022 moment where like he learns to like appreciate civilians and not be such a heartless bastard. It's more going to be that he accepts that it's a part of who he is, and part of being Batman is being in the public eye, because he didn't want that. He wanted to, you know, get in, beat the guys up, put them in jail and run away. Like, he doesn't want to be this massive well-known figure, but he kind of accepts that he has to be, and he already is pretty much. He's just saved an entire city on his first like proper job as Batman, so you know, he's not doing bad. Anyway, Bruce, the ending is basically Bruce takes in Carrie officially, not just as like a Robin, but as a family, so he actually adopts her. Carrie starts seriously training, and the bat signal is finally installed and lit, obviously. Gordon obviously hasn't appeared in this yet. I don't really I can't really think of a way how he would be here, but yeah, maybe just the GCPD did it. I just think it's a good thing to show that he is now influencing the city in a greater way. Now, obviously, we have to have a post-credit scene. I mean, how could we not? We're starting up a new universe. So, I have some ideas, but I'm not entirely sure. I think what I would do is, because I think the next movie should be a Superman movie, I think almost it has to be. What we should do is have it so not necessarily Superman. I mean, I had one idea that it would be Clark Kent and Lois Lane seeing in the newspaper stand, I don't remember what it's called, seeing the whole events that Batman has been involved in, and then, you know, Superman kind of commenting on it and, you know, being a bit inspired by it, because maybe it could be that's when he decides to properly suit up. You know, he's done heroic stuff before, but that's when he properly decides he's going to be a hero. But I'm not entirely sure. I think what I've landed on is that it should be that the Riddler's LexCorp stuff should be given back to Lex Luthor, and he says something like, "Oh, very interesting. I shall be making great use of this later," or something corny like that, and he smiles in the camera and it ends. I don't know, I mean, like, it's a superhero movie, and I'm not saying, like, it can't be, like, serious and stuff. It works. Batman 2022 was pretty serious. I think that's maybe the best Batman movie ever made. At least it's my favourite. But I still think it needs a bit of cheesiness, you know, a bit corniness in this, because this is a DCU thing, right? This isn't Matt Reeves's Batman. This isn't, you know, a crime drama. This is a big universe that we had to fit in. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. I think I'm going to do another video like this with Superman. And then my idea after that is to do a Superman-Batman team-up movie. I have a few ideas for that. I remember reading the comics of that when I was a kid, so it'd be cool. Alright, that's pretty much it. See ya.